fucking bullshit. Still only has one fucking vote. He wouldn't know which fucking one to look at.
So just we don't actually see anything in the owl, it just says stream starting soon. So I'm gonna see it.
Debbie there, she said that she thinks that
We're good, okay, we got it, sorry.
Okay.
I'm lost.
Motion for the previous minutes.
Moved by Harold Levine, second by Brian Kapowski. Motion to approve the minutes of the Finance Committee meeting held on April 7, 2025, open and closed session.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Unfinished business. Is that you, Karen?
I think council left off between.
Oh, we're gonna start.
And
Okay, Dean, you're still on the floor. Do you remember where you were?
Yep.
What have you gotten so far, by the way? What have you gotten in the budget so far?
Comes past the power truck and 2 O's to put on the tender, but I guess we're moving the original budget. The only other thing I'd like to mention before we start is I know council before at the time looking into a speed sign. I have another source. I won't know for another week or two, but there might be only $1,800 per sign or per speed sign. So it's going to show the data, the traffic, the whole thing. So there's another source out there that I'm looking at. So let council know as well.
You'd really come down since we first looked
That's
at
what
them,
I
eh?
mean, yeah. Because like, you know, the trailers and stuff like that, when we had the trailers, like 13 grand or something.
Yeah.
We looked at it, I think it was in between 6 and 8, I believe, kind of thing. And then now it's a different company, so it's a newer company.
So for $1,800, is that movable, or is that like we'd be able to move it around the township?
Yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah.
We just have to put it like in a post. Right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we put it on a post, we move it, it's solar, battery powered, but all no for the companies.
Did those people ever get back to you?
They haven't yet, no.
So, if you were to put $2,500 in your budget for that line, would you be able to do that?
No, yeah, for sure. If you look under safety devices.
What page, Dean? Sorry.
Page 12, we should be able to do something. Right.
On the left.
Page 12. Perfect.
So that would be under, in addition to material and supplies?
I think we can, it just depends, we maybe have to put like maybe another grand in there, just because if there's, like, we don't know what, like, people come to us and on, you know, stop signs, like, well, not stop signs, but if their sign's stolen or knocked down, you know, made, you know, not, what do you call it, reflective enough or whatever, so we need those rates, so that's where that comes into play. But I think if we put that up, maybe another 1,000, I think we'll be fine with 2 if we have to.
Up to $6,000 then.
Yeah. But that's a calculation.
Okay. Up to 6. So we're gonna add 2 then?
We should have, like I said, we're not 100% sure yet.
No.
I want to make sure I see these signs
Yeah.
and like make sure that they're operational and what would work well for KHR Township. Kind of thing. So
So
it almost sounds too good to be true, but it could be true. Like, you know what I mean?
So-
I remember being at Roma and speaking with another counselor, and they were talking about prices like that, so
Okay.
that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
So is council okay with putting an extra 2 into that line?
Yep.
Yeah. Are we putting 2 or 1?
No, just one.
Just
Okay, $6,000.
You're okay with that?
Yeah.
Better be safe than sorry.
Yeah, but materials wise,
Well, you were almost at,
it's $200 more, so I think we should be okay with that.
okay.
So it's gonna go to 5,000?
Pardon me?
5,000?
It'd be 6 there.
Where the 5,000 is.
Oh,
So
yeah,
you
sorry.
work in your budget, like
Yeah.
overall.
No, for sure. At the end of the year, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So it really, it's really scary.
Nope.
Okay, anything else, like up and above that?
No, the council gave direction on, basically what's going on there with the two roads and the truck, and, yeah, I think that's, pretty much it.
Now, the truck, will we have to include anything for that in this year's budget? It'll be next year.
Correct.
Also, oh, sorry, I don't think it- also, we have a similar size lease payment that's ending this August, so it won't have any increase on it when it does, whenever it does go up.
I was talking to a company there this morning there, and yeah, they said if we do the build ourselves, which was recommended, which I kind of think that's a good idea, they said we won't get it until 2026 anyway, so.
Okay, well, let's start then.
Sure.
So, materials and supplies under bridges and culverts, you knocked that down by 10, which is
10.
on page 9.
Yeah, can you give us the pages when you
Yeah.
go to that, please?
So, last year was budgeted 30, we spent almost 14.5, and this year we lowered it to 20.
Yep.
Grass mowing, which is on the next page, page 10. The materials and supplies, that was at, we only spent 5,200 compared to your budget of 10. You're okay with keeping it at 10, or do you want to go any lower?
We could probably drop it a little bit lower, just depends on what the lawnmowers, like, we have good summer students, that there's some returning that's gonna be, you know, they've been here for a while. The odd summer students we have, it's, you know, they run over trees and, and you know what I mean, like the blades and the back and stuff like that, so, but we could probably drop that, I would drop it too much more, maybe $1,000 more, if maybe two, but it's,
Lawnmowers are a year older.
yeah, exactly. And they do cut a lot of grass. We do. Like I forget. I should look there just for councils exactly to see how many hours that their lawnmowers actually put on in a year, like each one. But yeah, they put a lot of hours on it. We have some parks, right? And we have Station Park, Sherwood, Hawk Park now, the fire halls.
Yeah.
You know, we have a lot to maintain.
Okay. Ditching, equipment rental. You spent 0 last year, but you want to keep the budget at 5?
Last year, when we did, if you look under wages, it was, we did like almost $12,000 worth of work with wages, but we did it with our own equipment. I could probably, I was just with the impression that maybe we could have an excavator come in, you know, probably, you know, to do a little bit more ditching and stuff like that. But I could probably drop that down, maybe $2,000 maybe. That'd be pushing it, I think, but it's up to council.
I'm just asking these questions now ahead of time,
Yeah, for sure.
before we have to get to at the end
Mm-hmm.
and say, we need to chop this much or whatever.
Yeah.
If we can do anything beforehand,
Yeah.
the better we are. So, how comfortable are you?
$1,000 maybe. Equipment rental is not
Right.
cheap. Like, you know, an excavator, if you get a bigger excavator there with hitching and stuff, it's 120, 130 an hour kind of thing, right? So
Then let's leave it.
it doesn't take much to heat it up.
You won't get much equipment for $5,000.
No, you don't have it for a few days, really.
When we rent that stuff, do we rent an operator or do we operate it ourselves?
This year, we rented equipment, and we have an operator that runs it in-house, so
Yeah.
that's what
Okay.
we done. We have done it in the past, that's what we have done,
Yeah.
because a lot of them don't want to rent their equipment out, so we have an operator with it kind of thing, because some equipment does make sense, like
Yeah.
nobody really wants to rent a grader out kind of thing, they want their own operator on it. Some of the companies will, but some won't, kind of thing, so. Yeah, if we could leave, I prefer that, but it's up to council.
That's fine. Cold mix patching. So we were almost 4,000 below budget. I think that's a pretty good number, right? I don't see any to knock it down any.
Oh, that was not the.
No,
Maybe double it and put some on Red Rock Road there.
even though we're paving more roads, right?
Only 2 roads.
It'll-
Sure. You still have 300 and some kilometers of roads.
Okay.
It'll take 25,000 just to do Annie and Summit Street.
So, next one is sweeping and crack sealing, which is, the title is on page 10, but the details are on page 11. Again, another one where it was materials and supplies, there was zero actual, but you're keeping the budget at 5.
Yes. Reason being, we had an extra broom that we had found, because we usually, and it depends on the year, right? So last year, the year before, we didn't go through much of the sweeping because we didn't have much sand on the roads, right? So this year, well, if anybody drives the roads, they know there's a lot of sand this year on there. So, like, we have one broom that's new on our elegant sweeper. So that's where that would come into effect, because the brooms are, like, I think it's 2,000, and then like, there's gutter brooms on one side, and then there's the rubbers that keep everything intact, so it's not shooting it everywhere, it just picks it up. So that's where all that comes into effect, because like last year, we didn't need to put anything on that, because we did have some in stock. And this year with the sweeping, it's gonna be, like, wages could be a little bit, like, it'll be a lot higher than almost $6,000, right? So,
Okay, flipping to sidewalks.
Yep.
Okay, zero last year.
for which,
Sidewalks,
for which,
all of them.
Sidewalks are a capital
Capital
expenditure, they get
project.
removed at the end of the year.
those are capital projects.
Yep. Going down to dust control then.
Yep.
You're increasing by 2,000,
Yes. Trucking costs.
trucking costs. Gravel. It's on the next page, page 12. So last year you were 37,000 under budget.
And,
Top of 12.
okay. Doesn't say gravel, it does say bottom, okay.
Oh, crap, sorry. Okay, yeah, hold on. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, okay, sorry. Go ahead, sorry.
Gravel, so it was 37 below budget. And you kept your budget the same?
Yes, I want to, with the equipment rental, look as well, $5,000. I do want to get a local contractor that has a belly dump this year, to put a little more gravel on after we do the contract. There's a few spots that I like to put limestone on.
It has a what?
It's called a belly dump.
A belly dump.
So the gravel comes out underneath the
I
truck and
just
spreads.
didn't hear what you said.
Sorry, yeah.
You're always telling me about new pieces of equipment. Figured out skid steer. Yeah, it's on me now.
So that covers the equipment rental. What about the actual,
The materials and supplies, we still don't know exactly what our in-gravel contract's going to come in at yet. That's why I left it at that.
okay. Have we initiated sending out the tender yet for the gravel?
Not quite yet. It's in the works, but yeah.
It would be good if we could have that before we finalize the budget.
Well, like, I think we talked about the last finance meeting, I think that we had said that, we should be able to have the 2 roads as well for all that, so
Yeah,
that would definitely be for that.
because I'm assuming our 1% will equal around 34,000, I think, for taxation.
What?
I think it's gonna end up around 34,000, will equal 1%, so if
For
you're,
what now, sorry?
well, that's just on a taxation
Oh,
basis,
okay.
when we do the levy. So 1% will equal roughly 34,000. So if we can reduce that any, then I'll be 1% less type thing. Anyways, don't worry about that.
Okay, no, I just, you know,
Okay.
it wasn't unclear, that's all.
I don't think there's any reason to touch snow plowing for materials and supplies. Again, sanding and salting, that was 43,000 under budget,
But look at the sand pile now.
but it's gonna increase a lot.
It's very decreased.
That's why we're gonna go through another sweeper.
Yeah, most likely.
Now, under garage,
Yes.
which is at the bottom of page 12 and the top of 13. So we were 12,000 under budget. You lowered your budget this year by 8. That's good.
For, like, which
Garage,
line are you looking at?
garage, material and supplies.
No, I don't, but you said just to, you didn't say what, it was materials and supplies? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, yeah,
That's a good sign.
yeah.
Okay, now flip on page 13 under overhead. Seminars and workshops, you increased your budget to 15,000.
Yeah, we have 2 new employees, and I want to send them on some courses, just to get up with the legislation. So that's where that comes into effect, so.
Okay, couple lines down under specialized training. Last year you were 11,000 under budget. This year you're budgeting 10.
Specialized trainings, I want to send 2 guys to Guelph Road School this year. So it's 3 days, I think it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and that'll be included with the hotel rooms and the Guelph Road School. So that goes towards their CRS programming. So that if they get both of those courses, they'll have their associate supervisor courses, and then they can work towards their CRS course, which is certified road super.
Yeah.
Last year it was up. I put that in last year because a couple of guys said they were going to, and then they backed out, kind of thing. They said we didn't feel like it, but this year they feel like it. So
Okay. I'm going down a couple lines with the fuel, the diesels, and the oil and grease. Those were really under budget last year. And we kept the budget the same this year roughly. Gas prices are down now, aren't they?
Didn't plow last year.
yeah, that's
That's
true.
true.
We didn't allow that's. So that's like this is all like just worst case scenarios, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, in 2 years now, we didn't like. I think we were creating in March. Like some of the roads, like this is April, and we're just starting to kind of create some of the stuff. So that's just goes to show you each year is different.
So probably this year will be a true picture, like a worst case scenario.
Most likely because every weekend we're basically working, right? So I think there's a couple weekends off that we didn't have to work. So and that's where that comes into effect.
Okay. The going down some lines to legal fees.
You just never know. It's up to council, but then if you go over, like, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's probably still gonna make its way to, like, at the end of the budget kind of thing, it's there at the end of the lines kind of thing, but it's up to council. But you don't know what happens during the year, and we already had some calls already, so just never know.
I think something like that. I think we have to be prepared, just in case, right? The shed. What is that one?
That's basically outdoor furnace, maintenance of supplies, or maintenance for the building itself. This year we had to put in new lighting because it was, you couldn't even see it in the garage to even work. It was kind of like those old G-Lays kind of things, so we put in like LED lights, and at least now this way when you flip the lights on, you can actually see something, so you're not rolling around there. It's basically just maintenance on the building, which there is quite a bit of it, kind of thing, so. And the furnace and whatnot.
And miscellaneous garage, just for miscellaneous stuff. Right at the bottom of the page.
Yep.
You're okay with that?
We only spent $900 last year, yeah. That actually could probably be dropped down. We could probably drop that down to 3.
And also changing, cancel out the road too.
Yeah, I was just gonna bring that up.
That's where that one is?
$700 for road tour.
Where's that?
Where's the road tour? Oh. Yeah, that can be 0 then. And then if you flip the page to page 14, under communication,
No, sir.
communication, repairs.
Yes, I know we discussed this before, but I had Chuck Maddox come in there with the presentation. I do think you guys remember that, with, you know, GPSs and stuff like that. I called Bearcom, which is their supplier right now. I needed them to come up and do some like maintenance on all our fleet. I called. They said they would get in touch with the tech department, never did. So I don't know if they're restructuring down there, or what's the plan, what's their thing, but something has to be done with their communication systems, because it's not very well.
So you want to leave that in there in case they ever show up?
Well, I do, because we need a few radios put in and another GPS put in one of the vehicles. At this point, the only other option would be GPS to go. They're basically close to the same price as Bearcom, but I'd have to reach out to them and see if that's the council direction of the line to go. But our communication systems are, this time of year it's not too bad because there's no leaves on the trees. So it can go from Round Lake to the Rhodes Yard to here. They can bounce off pretty decent. But in the summertime, and we can't extend it because who did it? It wasn't any of this council, I don't think it was. But there was CSA, or any staff, I should say, wasn't CSA approved. So we can't go higher, because the thing is, we have to go higher with it, and we can't. So what I'm thinking is, down the line, we could look into something along like, let's talk about Dale about this. Like there's towers here in Killaloe, there's towers in Buck Hill Road now, Guns Road. If we could put some kind of a system on that and balance it all off for us to use as a system.
Will the new towers help? Do that?
Well, we'd have to put something up there. I'm not sure.
Or we have to do something?
Yeah.
Okay.
But right now, I would feel comfortable leaving that in there. I know it's like, it's a little bit more expensive that we never use, but it's, again, it's unforeseeable, right?
So going down the vehicles, the repair parts on all the vehicles. Like we were under budget, almost every one.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't taken anything off of any of them?
The only one I think I was just looking at, I have it highlighted here, would be, where are we here? Okay, so if you look at truck 14, like we spent 24 grand last year, that's our oldest truck, that's the 2013 International Town Plow truck. Like I only went up, well, I shouldn't say only, but 30 grand, so it's one of our older trucks in the fleet, and like a lot of them need different, the grader, if you look at the grader, we spent 15 grand last year. We had to get the seal, the oil seals, so they had to split the whole machine in half. So we had to float it away, and we had to rent a grader and stuff like that. But we need tires this year again for it. It goes through tires like crazy. But the only other big item, but again, like this is just worst case scenario, because at the end of the day, I don't know if we'll go out tomorrow and all 4 vehicles will break. I have no clue. Like I have over with all equipment, it's way over 30 pieces of equipment. That's including a steamer, it's including a chipper, it's including chainsaws, pole saws, you know what I mean? So we do have a lot of equipment to maintain. It's just, we don't know. Did I think that the grader last year was gonna split in half? No. To get an oil seal done? No, that costs a lot of money. And that's where I have that budget in there too. So if council goes ahead with looking at refurbishing, getting them to come up and do both loaders and like a loader and a grader for refurbishing, just for inspection before May 15th, I think that's when you get a better discount. That's where that's coming into effect too, right? So there's different scenarios that if council wants to move forward with that. So the only other one is the dozer. We can definitely cut that one down. I think we could put that almost by $8,000. If you look on page 15.
Knock it down from 30 to 15?
Yep, I think so. The reason being is we did put, I was with the impression that I was talking to you guys when I first made this up, and I thought that the one seal was done. Well, we had replaced it last year, so we replaced it. So, and there's new pads, there's new sprockets on it, there's new rollers on it, so I think we'll be good with that.
Just a couple more questions. On the loader number 3 on page 14.
Yep.
So you knocked that down by 10. You're okay leaving it at 20?
Yeah.
And just above that, the grader. So we still kept it at 30. We spent 15 on repairs last year.
That's if council goes ahead with that, if we get them to come in and inspect the equipment, see what it needs, they're gonna tell us if it's worthwhile, like refurbishing it, or, you know, painting it and stuff like that, so that's where that comes into play.
So we'll hold there. Okay.
And it needs tires as well, like you said.
Yeah. So, and the other one was the tandem, truck 21. So the lease.
Yep.
Last
year we didn't pay for that lease?
Yeah, so it's capital.
Oh, it gets moved, right.
So 66,574 is what's will be left.
Remaining.
So, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And the only other thing I was looking at the sidewalk, I have a question right beside it. Like, I know we look at that, we spent $44,000 last year on it, and we only spent 40. Or the year before, sorry, I estimated 40, we spent 44,000 kind of thing, so we're $4,000 over the budget, and it's not getting any younger. It's 2009, it's really maybe had its lifetime. Yeah, so like I said, we don't just use it for the sidewalks here in town, we use it for sweeping, we use it for cutting grass along the sides of the roads as well as with the John Deere tractor we purchased. So that's something that council should consider of either looking at lease to own or something.
Sorry, we spent $44,223 on that.
Correct.
I don't have
It's
the
time
number.
to go.
I don't have the number for the year before with me.
I don't know if we paid that much for that thing, I forget.
Yeah,
Yeah?
it was over 100 grand. Correct.
Well, still, that's half.
No, I know, I'm just saying, yeah, we paid 100 grand.
Half on repairs.
No, we don't have anything last year's. Oh, hold on a second. 2024, we spent 44,000. 15,000 was spent on it in 2020.
So we spent $60,000 in 2 years.
I think it would make sense for you to bring us a proposal at some point, not necessarily right now, of what we can do to replace it in the future.
We were down in Toronto there, I don't know if you guys remember that,
Yeah.
we were down there, we were talking to a company in Quebec. And I could look into further, because they have sidewalk plows there, it's like lease to own, like 3-year kind of lease kind of thing. We could look into that to see what, maybe the attachments don't fit, that's the only thing. It is a trackless machine, and theirs is different, like for different hookups for the PGAs and stuff like that, so we could look into that for sure. I can bring that back to council, but
What about that other company? Where is it? Is it a Owen Sound or what company was that? I should have got his card. I was talking to him. I even forget the name of the machine. They make them up there.
that's trackless, is it not there?
No. I forget, sorry. Okay.
I wouldn't think you need to do that necessarily during the budget process. I mean, just at some point, come and bring us that. We just spent $44,000 on it, hopefully it lasts us a little bit.
But we could spend another 40 on it this year. So if you can, bring us the numbers so that we can at least make that decision.
Because if you look at, just get to the roads thing is there, I had an estimate on sidewalk rental, and that's just not, that's what the brusher and stuff, but it's $20,000. Equipment's not cheap.
That tractor is cheaper than that, I think. I don't think we paid that much for the rent of that tractor, did we? I don't think so.
It was pretty expensive.
I know.
It was down here.
Yeah.
It was like close to $9,000.
So that 44,000 that you spent last year, is that early in the year or is that later in the year that you would spend that?
Oh, I'd have to look. I think it was during the summer when we were using it more because it was overheating a bit. There was a cooling fan and stuff like that that wasn't running properly. And yeah, I think it was during July or August. I don't know off the top of my head.
So it'll be something that we could be faced with another $40,000 bill
You never know.
in the summertime. Like that's,
equipment, right?
yeah. But if you buy a new one or lease to own, whatever,
No, sure.
I think we should have further conversation about this.
Sounds good.
So I'll put a question mark beside that one, okay?
Oh, there you go.
And you knocked 15 off the dozer. Does anyone else have any questions about the roads? Okay.
Oh, yeah, did you build in the cost of purchasing when we use the Mohawks, for the tins for the winter? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did not put that in there. The reason being is, I think out of our lease is getting out. So we're gonna have to look into different options for the work program. Because I think as of November, so I did put that back in there. And it was $5,000 or something like that.
It's 5,000.
I think it was 25, yeah, it's right here, yeah, 2,500 times 2, so it'd be $5,000. So we're not in November, but I think we're gonna have to look into something different along the line there with our Mohawk program.
Okay.
So we'll be in, I'll be in touch with Harold as well, and we'll figure that out,
Okay.
just to make sure.
Okay. Anything else on roads? Okay,
Do you
streetlights.
remember the name of the guy we talked to from Mitchell, the company that built the roads garage?
Oh,
Just wanted to look into it a little closer, but
what's his name? No, you got.
we talked to him outside then.
Yeah, I thought so.
just tried to look through the exhibitors there, but I can't find it.
It's Curtel, I think it is, or something.
Curtel?
I think it's something along that line there.
And this, we were talking about drawing up plans. This guy said they could draw us up a plan for a garage. I don't even think it'd cost us anything, eh? Right?
No, he said I think it was 30 grand or something.
Or, yeah, and he'd give us a plan, and it'd be all set to go. If you wanted it, you didn't, and it's sitting there, and you could just go ahead and he'd,
But we definitely have to look into it more.
But sometimes,
I know.
you know, it's almost, sometimes it's too good to be true, it's probably not. Sometimes it could be.
That's not very easy.
Some
I'm just
salesmen
saying-
are better than others.
I'm just saying what we're spending on our consultant there about getting the plans for this garage, like how much was it, 50 grand or whatever it was, 50
No,
million?
150, I think we spent already.
Yeah.
But that was with the wells, we had to do that because.
Oh, I know, yeah, test wells.
But then I think this year, this year it was 75, I think.
Yeah, for just to go ahead
So
with
we're
the
up to
plans.
100,000, we still never hit the ground yet.
Did you get a card from him when we were
Yeah, I
at
have it
the
in my bag.
Okay, if you look someday, just shoot it to me if you don't mind.
Sure.
Thanks, Steve.
No problem.
Okay, streetlights.
Can't do anything with that.
You're going up 7,000 in your budget.
Page you be on?
Oh, sorry, at the end of page 15, and the totals are on page 16.
I believe that was.
How much did you say it's increased?
From last year's budget,
7,700.
But the amount was 23,349, that was spent.
that was,
About 4,000, a little bit more increase.
yeah. So was that material supplies and repair, that's the one that really went up, or not really went up, but,
It was 1732 and I put it up to 2,500.
Just because of the street light that's going up at Round and Fire Hall. It only took 3 years for Hydro to finally get back to us.
that's, sorry Tammy, that's the second line, not the first line, the second line, with that material and support.
That's Killu?
Killed again.
Yeah, so it was 457,
Oh,
I put it up to 7,000.
Okay, and so the increase is because of the Killu, or the Round Lake Fire?
The Round Lake, with Relics Bill and Hydros, it's because they can't hook it up, but Hydro has to hook the connection up.
Okay. Garbage collection, that's in there. Molox is the same. So the Molox, so you only spent 8,500 last year, and this year you're gonna keep your budget at 15?
Sorry? It's at 12, not 15.
Sorry?
12 grand.
It's 12, not 15.
No,
Well-
he's looking at the total.
Oh, sorry, where am I looking here, sorry?
The total is 15 for the Moloch.
Oh, okay, for everything, yeah.
I guess 3 for
Well-
materials and 12 for hauling.
Well, the reason for the materials is we don't know what's gonna happen with the Molochs, right? So those Molochs, I think, are like 6 grand if you buy them new. Replacement parts are, because when they do lift the Molochs out of there, you lift the straps and then there's like 2 hooks underneath, so they pull the cord. But the one year, I think Carl might have seen that too, or how it was quite a mess when it broke there, it was just everywhere, and we had to replace the parts, right? So, and it's not fun changing them.
Smells good.
The hauling fees, that went up too, right?
And then we don't know what we're doing with them either.
That's right, so we can call them far away and maybe, who knows what the program's gonna happen at the end of the day, right? So, again, we'll have to have discussions how we'll talk with the, kind of thing, right? So.
And I guess the same thing with the landfill. Your budget went down from last year, but it went up 70,000 compared to last year's actual, but the prices are different too. The export to La Flèche, Red Rock site, those all went up, right?
You're right, okay, so what are you on right
So at the total,
Yep.
under total landfill,
Yep.
so your total, last year's actual was 326,
Mhm.
and this year you're at 399.
Okay.
But last year we budgeted 417, so it's come down, but
It has come in, yeah. So if you're looking at equipment repairs, compactor and other, there's definitely needed a lot of the sensors, not sensors, but the shut-off valve, or shut-off switches at the landfill. That's gonna be probably at least $8,000. That's just for switches alone, because we have that remote, whatever, from the, you guys can do it automatically with the remote, and there's an override that they did, because it was never really properly built. I think Carl can attest to this as well. It was never properly, we didn't ever got schematics from it, so we have to get somebody to come in to take a peek at it. They have to kind of go through the whole thing, so we never got schematics on the wiring and all that stuff, so, and hydraulics. So I never brought that with me, I totally forgot. But we got a quote on that, but I'm pretty sure it's around that price. So, it's safety devices, right? So we have to make sure that's up the priority, because, you know, we have, well, that's just, we have to make sure safety is priority, right? So.
I've forgotten. Do we have to, are we asking every department about the boot allowance? Or is that throughout now? Throughout? Okay, so with your guys, the landfill guys plus the roads guys, I brought this up before about trousers and t-shirts or that type of thing. Does anyone have any interest in doing this for the employees? Getting like a clothing allowance?
No.
When they get the 300,
You
if you want to
get-
buy safety vests or safety pants or whatever out of the 300 instead of boots or whatever, that means pants and shirts and boots, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
So that'll go up too at the landfill, because that'll be $600, right? So it'll go up $200.
Yeah.
Any other questions on landfill? Recycling.
We don't know what's coming down with that, actually.
And the grinding, you put that up, right?
And it's like anything, it could come in the budget, but
And recycling, I guess we have no comment about that, do we? Because we don't know. Water treatment plant, I guess that's all up to date, Tammy, right? Non-resident water, sewer treatment, those are all up to date. The medical center. Dale had put a whole bunch of requests, or not requests, but things to look at. Does anyone have any interest in doing any of those? That was on Dale's sheets that he gave us.
Medical Center courthouse plumbing upgrades for $2,000 to replace. He went to do that, was in last year's budget, but didn't replace them. Medical Center courthouse shingle replacement should be put in the 2026 budget, anywhere from 15 to 20,000. so it's okay.
2026 budget.
2026, yeah, so that's okay. Medical Center courthouse windows and doors. Most of the windows and doors are possibly original except for the newer front entry. has a budget of 25,000. And that's it for the medical. So, courthouse.
Does anybody have any interest in doing any of those items?
Have we put the rent up at all on that?
We have not brought that back yet.
That's where we start.
Now, did council want to approve the 2,000 for the fixtures?
The plumbing upgrades?
Yes.
I would say we've had trouble with that all along, like it's broken, it doesn't work, and then it does work.
His note here is, most fixtures are original and are starting to fail or leak. This was approved last year, so it must be in here, right?
I'm not sure if it's still in if it's actually in there or not, but I'll double check with you.
I know it's a courthouse and they don't use it, but still they're paying rent for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got material repairs and maintenance for 5,000. So if Dale does not have that in, you're prepared to say okay to that?
Yes.
Okay. And I think that was the only ones that he had listed. Okay. Recreation administration. What would be the wages for that? Who would be in that?
Some students, if any of the public works employees do anything like for recreation, that would be put in there.
Okay.
That's a steep jump in insurance.
Insurance is the big cost, eh? Surprise.
Like everywhere. Insurance, it's a bad word. The library. The ask was for 10,000 increase.
Approximately, I think the ask is for 17.
Does anyone have any concerns about that or any questions? Everybody's okay with that?
I just, invoices paid by the township, what's that, heat, hydro, or what is that?
Insurance and legal, and accounting.
Audit and insurance.
Okay. So we pay for their audit?
Their accounting
The
fees.
auditor does their books and it's in our audited financial statements that they'll give us.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm answering because I'm library, sorry about that.
So we're okay with the ask?
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go on the chopping block.
Community development.
All right, so as per request, from the last time I presented my budget, I've gone ahead and I've updated all the numbers. Charlene has them, but for ease and for council to better understand my numbers, I provided everyone with a pamphlet of updated kind of, I guess, my budget items. I put page numbers on them so it's easy for everyone to follow. You guys can kind of take a look through it and any questions. There's before we go, there is a couple, or I guess one big item that I kind of would like to add to it. So, you know, through discussion of my work truck, we're looking at, like I said, putting $9,000 into it, and then, you know, through it sitting through the summer, I know you guys have put a brand new battery in it, and the truck still wouldn't start, which means could be nothing, could be alternators. So I think there's another, you know, possibility of having to spend more money. Last year we had to put $10,000 into it. This year I can see us could spend 10, could spend 5, could spend 2, could spend 20. Truck's like an early 2000s with 300,000 kilometers on it. It's a big engine, turns a lot of bearings, you know.
And it's very much fun to drive. You can't get out the door.
If you look in preliminary budget requests, when you get there, you'll see I got a rough cost from Summers for a Ford Maverick, which is kind of a lower truck, has a bed, a box to it, which would be everything I need. I have options in there for leasing and buying, so you guys can take a look.
I see it.
So that's in your new package you gave us tonight?
Yep. But any questions, feel free to stop and I can answer them along the way too.
The first one I have, Tammy, could you make a note that for Killaloe Pathways, he's got $20,000 as a budget. Can we make that 22,304?
That was actually our auditor's suggestion to put 20 in.
So not put the full amount in?
Will told me, he said go 20, it's an even number.
Okay, 22,304 is the number that's in his, that he has set aside. But if he said 20, then let's leave it 20. That's fine.
And yeah, that's grant money, that's not tax money.
Yeah.
And hopefully we're not gonna spend it.
Yeah.
Well, can I bring something up here?
Yeah.
The newsletter? Every day I go in the post office, our newsletters are laying on the throw-out bin.
So
I like tons of them there.
I think we're done with that now, right?
No, it
That's
hasn't.
Johnson's decision if we want to continue with the hard copies or doing
The hard
copies.
copies, it's unbelievable the amount that are laying in the post office. And I think it's a total waste of money.
So we had given him direction to look for the e-letter, did we not?
Was a look into it. How much was the software that you needed to get that done?
I have it in my old reports, but if I'm going off the top of my head, it's like $40 a month.
$40 a month?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have in here 12,000 as a budget. We've done 2 letters, right?
Yes.
So 2 of 6, or 2 newsletters we sent out?
Yes, we've done 2 since the new year.
Okay. So this is for, I'm assuming 2,000 per edition?
Oh yeah, so you include postage. I think we're 1,200 and change to get the actual newsletters here, plus postage.
So if we cut that 12,000 to 5,000 and proceed with the e-letter as opposed to the newsletter?
I think we'd cut it more than that if it's
We
$40
did
bucks a
that,
month.
yeah.
No, 40 times 12, whatever that is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
$480.
Yeah.
Nice.
But we paid for 2 letters or 2 mail-outs
Oh,
already.
2 rounds.
It's a nice idea, and I've talked about it for a long time, and you know I'm supportive of it, but we don't have the plan in place, so we don't have anyone to email it to yet. And we need to collect email addresses and get their specific permission to be able to email it to them. So we can do this, but that's a big job to get
Well,
2,000 email addresses.
yeah, my assistant starts Monday. My assistant starts Monday.
Well, and in the meantime, you can post it on our Facebook page.
That's what I was gonna
Post it on
say.
our website.
Yeah.
We're gonna direct people there using like every means that we have, right?
Councillor Smith, I understand the caution with getting it implemented, but I feel like that piece of it would be more of people sign up at their own discretion type thing, and if we aren't seeing numbers, then we can really start pushing it. But
If it's on Facebook, like everybody's on Facebook.
Facebook and Instagram, we have
Yeah.
both.
Yeah.
But
And
it's
maybe we do something like put a link in everybody's email signature so that anyone getting an email from us can subscribe to the
Yeah.
newsletter.
there is a risk though that we pay for this $40 a month and 5 people sign up.
Well, that's,
But we're still gonna have a newsletter, it's still gonna be on our website,
Yeah.
it's still accessible for people.
Yeah.
Anyone with a computer can look at it.
The
Yeah.
difference would be, and I kind of just figured this out through chatting with the representative who would be the company we'd onboard. The new e-newsletter wouldn't be the current, I don't even know the right word for it, platform I use now to implement the newsletter. So making the hard copies, I don't know if it's doable or not. I know because it's specifically tailored to the website, and there's pros and cons. The pros is we get a brand new, updated e-newsletter that I can choose what we want in it, how many pages we want, colors, fonts, everything. But I don't know if we could turn that into a PDF and then print it off, because I know there's also discussion with leaving 50 or so here in the office.
I think we can figure it out. I can help you with figuring that out. Yeah.
yeah, because every day you go in the post office, you're just laying there.
And the same with us in Mary's Bay. Okay, so do you have a recommendation from the 12? How much do you want to lower that?
Well, yeah, so how much we've spent thus far, and then
Yeah, what we
whatever
spent so
monthly
far.
payments.
$280 a month plus whatever you're posting.
Yeah.
So you'll have to figure out what you've spent on printing and postage up to this point.
I
in
could get
2025.
a GL tomorrow to figure out that.
Yeah.
So probably at the most, it'll be,
I bet you we're gonna save $5,000.
we could put the budget down to 5,000 right now?
I'd say less than
Probably.
We have to also see though what we put into it.
Sorry?
I think we wait till Colton
Yeah.
figures that
Yeah.
out,
And
and
then-
then we'll adjust it accordingly. I think we need the correct amount of numbers.
So council does want to move to an e-newsletter.
Yes. Because when you see them laying around,
So, Tammy, I'm just going to put on mine just 5,000 for now with an E beside it, okay? And whatever happens, happens. Okay, the Canada Day one.
pre-approved.
You went up to 22.5, right?
And the new, it's 19,200 on the sheet that I.
Here it goes.
Yeah.
Could
And
be
we've got,
$1,000 with the grants I applied for, or it could be the full cost.
but we don't know that yet. Okay. And that definitely includes the ducks, right?
Yeah, ducks are included. They're here.
They're here.
I even got our killer baby Richards.
You came to this meeting tonight and not with a duck.
Do you want me to
You
move
have-
the
I
You
duck?
gotta put it on Maureen's desk.
You have to get a duck.
Let's.
No, let's do it. But before I leave, I'd like to see them all.
All of them?
Hey, we'll put them in now at the dam and Maureen can go down and catch them.
Okay. Other cultural events, 3,500.
Yeah.
That could be whatever. We don't know yet.
Other cultural events are typically the tree lighting ceremony. I know there's been talk about wanting to do like a walk through Station Park with the lights. We could put money into there. We can put. There's
Remember, Steve?
Well, don't we give money to the Polish days? Good with that?
I believe so. I think we haven't passed them. I'm
That
sure.
comes out of here.
I think that, though, Ted goes through the donation.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Remember stays.
So we've got the tree lighting, active living, the swim, barbecue, group ball tournament, snow fun, and Christmas walk in Station Park, lights, music, etc.
So we must not have done something last year, we only spent $1,000. We're okay leaving it at 3,500?
Yep.
The gathering, we put down to 17,500,
Mhm.
and we've gone through all of these, right? So we don't need to go through again.
Pre-approved.
Songs from the park,
Yep.
car show. What is the rural community partnership for?
I believe that's with Mad Valley. I need to look more into that. It's something we have done in the past. I know that it wasn't done last year, but there was that budgeted amount for it. So
That was those rural,
Dollars, weren't they?
Yeah, the rural.
They collect the cards and you drop them in and you drop them off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they
I think-
ended that, the group ended that program, so
So we
I think we
can,
can take that out.
we can zero that out.
I believe so.
Okay. And Scarecrow and Halloween,
yeah,
are we still keeping that? We changed the venue, didn't we, or something?
I would like to do KPP or Halloween KPP with a haunted trail walk.
That'd be good.
Grandma's Pantry has offered to help. So
That's a good idea.
yeah.
So we'll keep the budget the same. Remembrance Day, keep it the same.
Yeah.
And that Anadine Kerr,
That's council's direction to book them
What?
or book her.
So Anna Dean Kerr, she used to come to Remembrance Day and play the bagpipes. I forget what song she played, but I do know that she stopped coming because, from what I understand, is that it was too cold, and then the bagpipes didn't sound nice in the cold.
Bagpipes are music to my ears, always.
So
They don't always.
council would like then, it was her choice from what I understand, but council can have Colton reach out if that's something council would like to see if she would come back to do.
Typically, it was Clint.
Yeah.
Years past.
Yeah.
but he doesn't play bagpipes.
Clint, I don't think he plays bagpipes. I haven't met him yet, but
No, it doesn't.
No,
If it's too cold for the bagpipes, it may be going to be too cold again in November every year.
Well, maybe we should touch base with her and see what her feeling is.
is that council would like me to
Council?
So you
call?
could ask her opinion and see if she's willing. Now, do we have a sound system somewhere in this, like to replace the amps, because they were not working for that? Okay, good. Yeah, because that's important.
Yeah. I got Darren came in and kind of gave me a list of all the ones that he think would work best. And they kind of fit as one that you can use as a mixer, as a
Okay,
Bluetooth for
awesome.
your phone, microphone, everything. So
Okay, that's
he
good.
kind of gave me his recommendation, and I have that in here.
Okay.
So the environmental action, that goes down to 1,500?
Yep.
That 1,500, what does that include? Sorry, I'm just asking.
The action tour would involve the all the food we get for the day. Garbage bags. Well, garbage bags are given. They're donated. But that is a good point to bring up in that Peter, who was at Bunzel, has retired. So that might be a cost that we'll have to pay for bags moving forward.
So we spent $1,500 on food.
Could probably get away with it.
Well, don't we give everybody tags too? Does that
And everyone gets prizes. Like most valuable picker gets prizes to your grandma's pantry.
I did it twice and I never got any tags ever.
Last year, it was $1,182.
Okay, thank you. That's all I'm asking.
There's also the 2024 actual values are on the other side, you can see that.
So on page 4, material and supplies.
We already approved this, right?
Correct.
The banners, yes.
So on the ledger, it shows what?
That is an old ledger. I've given the numbers to Charlene, so,
So-
don't go off the ledger that you have
Yeah.
in this book.
I'm going off your numbers, so we should change that 6,500 to 9,150, right? Is that what you're saying?
Sorry?
So the new number is 9,150, right?
That is the total cost, correct.
And where's the, that other line that you have, contribution share of costs?
Beaver Tails agreement.
That's
Yeah,
it.
I don't understand that.
We pay to have them,
We pay to have it in town.
yeah.
It's also promotion, all that stuff.
Our name is attached to it.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, it used to be a lot worse than that. So where, what line is that under?
I think it's under
contracts?
contribution shares of cost.
Okay, and the other item he has is the swag. Where are we here?
Page 4.
This sway would be used for, like, if I go to any conferences or job fairs where kids, from schools want to come take a look and we have something to offer them. I went to a couple last year and all these people around me had, big signs and all this stuff to give away, and I was just giving them firm handshakes, So
Do we have any pins left? Are pins a big thing nowadays?
I will never say no to a pen if it's offered.
A pin.
Oh, a pin.
We have pins.
Yeah.
I got
Is that-
lots of pens.
Is that a good swag anymore? Or is that gone?
I think it's
Kinda
gone.
gone.
Is it?
I think it's big.
We just went to the trade show, there's a trade show at Good Roads, and there's 100 and some booths, and
Very.
nobody had
Nobody had a pin?
pins. They had
Uh-huh.
pens.
Pens, yes.
Yeah.
And they had, you can get a chocolate, that's about it.
Chocolate. The one place we went to had basketballs, those spongy basketballs. Remember those?
Almost had t-shirts.
You did?
So what you're looking for, you're looking for a line item, that's under economic development. So the 9150 for the materials and supplies is there.
Oh, okay.
Contribution share of costs, and the miscellaneous would be the swag.
How long is that contract with Beaver Tails? Does anyone know?
How long?
Is it forever or
Forever.
it's forever?
I'm sure that, look into that, I'm sure there's a renewal rate or something like that. I can't imagine it would be.
I can call Grant. He's reach out.
We'll discuss that first. Meeting.
Where are we now, Colton?
Next would be the outdoor parks.
So that's page 5?
Correct.
you're better off to look at the ledger because it's all,
The, is that the one with the attendance on? The rink staff?
yes.
So that one's gonna be crazy this year? Because of all the time they spent? Like the wages are gonna be really high, the actual?
We'll have to see what
Yeah.
the actuals were, yeah, I'll have to see.
Because there was a lot of time spent on those rinks this year.
For sure.
And the plants, we were okay with that, right? The 3,000?
Yeah, I believe Tammy brought that up on my behalf, and
And the lending hub, do we buy stuff for the lending hub?
Yes,
So just in case we need it, it's there, right? Cheryl Boyle Park.
could be a plan to put plants there. I have to go check it out first. I'm going to wait till I can see all the ground before I make any decisions on if I want plants there. But that was the initial plan, and it's not putting like $3,000 of plants in the park. That's just all part of the plant budget.
Good. And does that cover Carl's labor?
I'm not doing no labor this year, sorry.
Yeah.
I think we've got a very good girl that's gonna look after them. I can recommend her highly. If we get them cleaned out from last year.
We need to learn to let things go.
Not my fault.
Every week.
I always bring stuff up about.
Does anyone have any questions about the outdoor parks?
I do. At Station Park, wasn't there a question about what we wanted to put on the ground there?
On the ground.
Or the police car.
Yeah, with the play structure.
Oh, that's one of Dale's things, yeah.
yeah, Dale had, I don't think he has it in his report, but I was wondering if council wants to replace I don't know, the chips that are there, if they wanted to replace it, if you could, with approved sand or something, because he's having a hard time getting the chips. Locally, he has to go to Ottawa to get them.
Yeah, on the last page of his thing, he says natural play space has about 3 to 5 years of life left. In his opinion, we need council to make a decision to keep using the grow bark for the surface or change it to a different material. Play structure is starting to deteriorate, especially the parts that were made using oak.
I think that's a very dangerous situation
I don't
personally.
I know we got a grant for it,
I know.
and it was all paid for at one time, but
It was fundraised
It was
by the
fundraised.
community.
Yeah.
we got a grant.
Yeah.
The fundraising committee got a small grant, yes, but it was mostly fundraised by the community as part of that fundraising group.
And there was
I do believe council did contribute some though, did they not?
No,
No?
I don't believe so, but don't hold me to that.
I don't.
I believe it was like completely community funded, and I think the community also found the grant that funded the remaining bit that they were asking for.
There was an anonymous donor who donated the wood.
Uh-huh,
There was a big chunk of the cost of it.
yeah.
But he says it's 3 to 5 years of life left. So, but I think the immediate concern is the bark, the base. So,
So his
And-
recommendation is sand?
Or an alternative.
Okay.
but he doesn't put an estimate with that. There's no cost associated with that sand. So, I think we need to find out that if it is necessary to do that.
I don't like the idea of sand.
Oh, now with all the cats in
Yeah,
town.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's gross.
I don't know why you just can't use regular bark in there.
I think the way he's coming at is if you use a regular bark, if kids go down there and slivers and stuff like that, so they fall and stuff.
The initial intent when that was constructed was for accessibility, that you could, it
Oh.
was a special mulch that you could travel over more, as much as you could on mulch, but it's very hard to source. And it was hard to source back then too, so.
Now, was that correct me if I'm wrong, because you drove it, I think, was it fiberglass? Not fiberglass, but it was like that. It wasn't wood, but it looks like it was fake wood or something. I can't remember what
It had a certain compaction.
exactly, so you would get slivers off it and stuff like that, right? So
That's why that was.
Okay, my only other question would be, is this the place where, so I know you wrote a grant for the Round Lake. Did a grant go in for that, for the Round Lake grant? And that was really, it was like $200,000 possibly. So is this the place where if we wanted to have a bit of extra money in case that grant were to come through, like where would we put that?
We would put that up.
We would put that here. Is that something that we want to do so that if this grant comes through, we don't have to turn it away? Because that would be awful to have to turn that away when the Round Lake rink needs the love. So,
I believe that you and I had a conversation saying that we didn't need to put that in the budget, that we could make a decision at the time we got the grant.
okay,
The budget is for things that
Okay.
we know or expect are going to happen.
okay, just to make sure that we can like access that if and when the time comes. Okay,
But I think we need to understand that if this happens, are we all in agreement that we would do this?
We already agreed to that, that's why you put the grant in.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need to step away for a moment.
What's the Round Lake recreation property for $25,000?
The grate, anything having to do with repairs and maintenance, anything having to do with that property itself. But that's where it was determined that the dock system would go.
The dock and the launch.
And so our auditor suggested that we leave it consistent, so the grate is there, and then we will have to increase it, being for the boat launch work as well.
And we talked about that, I did meet with an engineer yesterday with regards to that, so he's gonna send me a report. He did say that there was a precast instead of pouring cement down there in the mill grant. So there's like a precast, so like what you would do is take the cement out there, compact it, and then just basically leave the cement precast on there. So they already poured cement to the barricades kind of thing, and just compact in there, so. But I still have to wait for that report.
Good. And the Killu rink, that was for $20,000 that you're budgeting.
The Killu rink, so that's not an accurate number. The Killu rink would just be for the new ads, the rink ad slips I want to put in.
You need $20,000 for that?
This is the old GL.
Oh, what do you want?
3,000. That would get us started with 4 or 5 ad slips. And then to help with operational costs. Maybe cash for some money.
Okay, so the Killu rink, instead of 20, it's gonna be 3,000.
No, it'll probably be a little bit
Yeah.
more. We have to look at it. It's not all Colton stuff. It's Dale's. It's any kind of repairs and maintenance. It's anything that happens at the Killu rink.
Okay.
There needs to be like more who wants to do what.
It's gonna go down though, right?
I don't know, it depends on what council approves. So if we can go back to the Round Lake, if you look at Dale's, he's saying that the Round Lake rink, it was in returns for 6,000. The Round Lake rink, the home gear repairs for 3,000. The new rink boards, we're already aware of that. So those two matters right there, he's looking for approval for.
Okay, let's do the first one. Brown Lake Rink new furnace. Estimate $6,000. All those in favor?
Yeah.
And the next one was the Olympia repairs for $3,000. Everybody okay?
We have to ask.
That's the first money spent on that machine, so.
So those can be added. Does anybody else have any questions?
Kelly, he has, I'm not seeing Kelly Rink repairs. Kelly Rink renovations, he's wondering if the council wants to do anything with that, or he's put in his comments, put some funding in reserves and continue looking at grants for roofing, windows, doors, walls, new siding.
I say look for grants.
Considering the money we're putting into other infrastructure this year, I'd rather hold off.
Yeah.
It's not the worst of our problem enough infrastructure.
Okay, anything else? Planning and development, that's been knocked down. Tourist information booth.
Comprehensive zoning. To go back to the comprehensive zoning and all that, Tyler, speak on that.
I brought that up at one of the previous meetings, if council is okay with going ahead with that zoning housekeeping. Again, costs associated with that, the county is $950. Just to be safe, we put a buffer of $1,500 in case for other costs. The big hit on that one was a potential postage of having to mail out. In speaking with the county, there might be an option to post notice to newspapers, online, etc. But we still have that money in postage for the time being. By the time we get down to the housekeeping, if council wants to go ahead with it, it may be a significant amount of items that we might want to still mail it out, so we left that postage in there. So the other side of it is there's a lot of work involved to put together a presentation for it. Are you guys okay with at least that going ahead? In the meantime, for a proposal on the housekeeping, would be a benefit to the taxpayers, just to clean up things that you don't notice until you actually have the bylaw in place, so. Just looking for direction.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, all those in favor? Okay, tourist booth.
What's that?
Tourist booth. Basically the same budget as last year's budget.
Materials and supplies, nothing was spent, but I'm planning to do some stuff this year with advertising and stuff like that, so.
And the reason we didn't spend as much money as last year is because of wages. It wasn't open all the time.
No, it was hard to keep staff though, so. And then, as Tammy said, for the banners and the Beaver Tails agreement and the miscellaneous, those are all the key components that were questioned earlier. So, materials and supplies is the banners, contribution share costs of Beaver Tails, and miscellaneous is the swagger merch.
Where you do your going to conferences? Did I see?
That's in the detailed budgets under conference and trade shows.
Did I miss that part?
It's not in the budget overview.
On this one.
It's in your detailed budget. It's page 10. Sorry. Page 9.
9.
So do you, maybe this is a bad question for you, about going to, you had planned going to 2 conferences?
I do.
And how far apart are they?
So I know EDCO is late in the year and OBIA I believe is mid-year, so it'd be all kind of towards the end of 2025.
And in the past, have we gone to both those conferences? Your feedback you got back, Tammy, was it worthwhile to go to both?
From previous community development, yes. And I believe, Bill and Maureen
Yeah,
went
they
to
went.
the OBIA and you.
No, we
No, we
went
went to EDCO.
EDCO, you said it was more for.
It's for the community development
Yes.
person.
Yeah,
It's not for us.
excellent conference for staff.
If council wants to cut anything, I think that from what I've heard and what I know, I think EDCO would be the more beneficial one
Yeah.
of the two, but I think both are still very beneficial for me.
Well, maybe what we should do is let you go to both this year, and then after that, you tell us, because they're so close together, I'm sure it's very similar, the conferences,
Well, OBIA is business in action.
but it's the same vendors, and they might have different speakers, but, you know, it's just like us going to a conference 2 months after we've gone to one, you know.
I know EDCO's typically in Toronto, and Blue Mountain announced this year they're, EDCO's in Toronto and Blue Mountain, OBIA announced they're at Blue Mountain this year.
Okay. Is that fair? He goes to both this year?
Yep.
And then determine. Okay. Does anyone have anything else?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
We gotta bring back on this truck that he was talking about. We haven't discussed that at all.
His truck.
Page is that?
What
What page?
Go to page 7.
Right in the background.
It's of your
Yep, you got
budget
it.
overview, page 7.
Cause I drove that truck last year. I wouldn't take it from here to my house. Well, he couldn't get out the door.
Yeah.
Well, you were in it too.
I believe that's fixed though now.
Beg your pardon?
I believe the door is fixed now.
Well, drive it then and see what you like.
Something wrong with the window. You can get out.
Oh, jeez.
Hey?
Pardon?
The Dukes of Hazzard, jump through the window.
I think the previous driver must have really messed that truck up.
Moraine.
It's a
I
2000.
drove it once too.
So, and these numbers are from, okay, Harold, what do you think?
Well, the truck is done. No, I don't know.
Maybe the question should be lease or buy.
Does it have to be new?
No, I was saying
Yeah.
used. Is there any used things, used trucks around? I'll sell you mine. 203.
You're up.
You're looking for a better one, Tom.
Yeah.
I don't want to be making a commitment about this right now. We've got a whole bunch of infrastructure things that we put into this budget. And I think we need to see a provisional budget before we can.
Maybe just to help us along, like if we defer this, but maybe would it be Dale or Colton? But see if there is a used truck on their lot and at what cost. You know, just as in case we have the room to do this.
So what I've.
So we're totally prepared to
Yeah.
make a decision.
What Tim has told me is their lot right now, they do have a lot of used in that 2019, 2020, which would be kind of what we're looking at if we were to go used. but he said a lot of the trucks that they have, you know, where like the SLTs and the kind of higher end trucks in the used department.
Well, Dean could take yours and give you one of his.
I was gonna say, I could give you my 2018.
It's a good truck, It's a good truck.
How about equals for
I need a box.
Trailer.
We'll get you a trailer.
You have to look at something though, because he needs a truck.
Yeah.
The repair is no good to him. And if we gotta spend 9 or 10 grand on that old truck, it's a complete waste of money.
It's not worth nothing.
So if you could provide us, if Colton's gonna do it, provide us the details on the used side.
If we're spending 9 grand a year on it, that covers a payment,
Yeah.
payment for it.
Okay.
So
But
really, it's already in the budget if we're putting 9 grand in for repairs.
That's true.
That's the year payment on it.
I don't need, you know, a full size, even like a Ford Ranger, you know, like, I need a box. That's what I need.
Well, I can get you what size you want. I'll get it at the store for you.
For your Civic, whatever you run.
That's a Civic.
Does anyone have anything else for Colton? Is there any miscellaneous items that we need to cover off on, that we haven't covered? Has anyone thought of anything else?
The only thing I would love to ask council, I know I put it in the provisional budget there, but refurbish for them to come take a look at it. We're gonna save money if they do take a look at both the loader and the grader to see if they can, they'll come down, so it'll be cheaper. May 15th is when the deal is over, so if council has passed the budget by then. I know it's in the budget, but could I move forward with that? That's what I'm asking.
I think definitely you should.
For having them come to get the estimate?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Like, we still have to put money out for them to come. Yeah.
for the estimate.
Yeah. Good.
Did we talk about the retaining wall at Station Park?
It's not
$100,000.
something we were gonna do this year, no?
Because we're looking at 100 grand.
Yeah, we never got a quote or anything like.
Well, we got
Dale gave us an
we got
estimate.
previous quotes that it was going to be around 100,000.
And I was thinking about this fire hall in regards to Bob's Fire Hall in Round Lake. If we wait a year to do that outside, how much was it this year, the estimate, to do the outside?
50,000.
That's the figure, the figure.
20,000 for inside, 50,000 for outside. Or 60,000 for inside.
Heating will be going up at least 25%, it's better than imported.
I was just thinking, as I was driving today, that are we better off waiting for a year, or at least just putting it into the budget and put a bracket around it, and if we have room, or do you think it's not even worthwhile talking about?
I think we should do.
I think we already decided to do the inside this year. And
Most of it should be done because it is a place for emergency.
Yeah.
My concern was that how much will it cost us next year, that's all.
Look into your crystal ball.
I wish.
might be less. The tariffs come off, you never know.
Paint might go down. Everything's going up. Don't worry about it going down.
Just doing the rough tally of the things that we've already said yes to, I think we might be in a position of having to revisit some of our decisions and cut something back, so.
Hey, Tammy, do you have anything? Anybody have anything else?
Yeah, we haven't talked, or we haven't circled back to the topic of the Tammy's restructuring of the admin staff. I think we need to consider whether we're moving forward on that now or not. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
So, you did provide us that number? You provided a full year number, for the restructuring that we talked about, and suggested was about 120. So if it was this year that we were putting it into the budget, we'd probably be putting about $60,000 into the budget, because we're halfway through the year, or more than halfway through the year by the time the position would actually be filled. And remember from the conversation that Tammy did say that it's necessary to change the staffing component, but whether or not that's the right thing, I mean, we asked her for a report and that was her recommendation back, but that's obviously it's a council decision.
Suggestion that I would like to make is I'd like to wait until Tuesday night in close to talk about this more in depth, in detail,
Okay.
if we could.
Our meeting, for sure.
Okay, anything else?
On the budget?
We're good? Well, we're good. Let's see what happens where it goes.
So we've given sufficient direction on everything?
Oh, we need to, our next meeting, how long will it take for you to compile? Are you guys
By the
looking,
end of the day tomorrow?
are you guys looking at each other's eyes or what?
We got to give her more time than we did this last
Do
time.
that new business before it closes here.
And someone gets bureau reports for doing the minutes in the past 2 days. Anyway, thank you for that.
Any ideas on your part? On when? So today's the 10th. I think next week, everyone said that something was
Oh my
going on
God.
every day, right?
Yep.
Nobody was available.
And we gave it
Sorry?
to a long weekend.
Oh, plus it's a
So
long
that's-
weekend. It's a double long weekend. So that gives you all of next week. Well, 4 days next week. And then, what about the 24th of April?
I got a meeting.
You're no good.
I can't anyway.
Me neither.
Then, we may have to crunch after that meeting, that's all. Because we're going to do May 31st, right?
June 27th.
June 27th? Okay. So how about the Shrine Hill is the 28th. Right?
Yeah, it's election day.
How about the 29th?
That's really not great for me. I'm in Ottawa that day, so
How about the 30th is not good? How about the May 1st?
The anniversary and I'm missing.
That's the action?
if everyone else could do the 29th,
Well-
I could commit to being back here in time for that. It's not that's what I can do. I was going to
Well,
do
let me just say this. On the 29th, we're going to receive that package, or a new provisional budget. And what are we going to do with it? Go through it, department by department, or just see what the bottom line is and attack it? I guess that's what we're going to do, right?
Correct.
Before we pick that date, does that give you guys enough time, the 29th?
To have it done for the 29th?
Yeah, because we don't need yous rushing through it and not having it done. Just to have a meeting. Because we still have almost 2 months after that.
Yeah.
As long as yous are
Are
good
you
with
sure?
it.
Because we do have other things.
Yeah, I know.
We can go into May, we don't have to.
I mean, it's up to Charlene, she's the one putting all the numbers in.
No pressure.
And then we go through it before, make sure everything's kosher before we get it to.
I would prefer
Okay,
going
let's go,
in May.
let's go first.
When we go into May, we don't have to.
First
Okay.
week of May.
Monday, May 5th. I don't hear any no's.
You get the end of the
I'm not
line.
uncomfortable, but I can't do the 5th or 6th.
We've approved you already anyways.
All right,
Council? May 5th,
I'm okay.
May 5th.
7 o'clock. And Ted, you said you had new business?
Yeah,
Okay, move on to new business. Before motion to close.
so after our finance meeting on Monday, the mayor's wife is posting stuff that to me is not right. Has everybody seen it? Have you seen it?
Maureen and Bill sent me a copy.
So your wife never told me that about it? Of course not, I don't believe that, but. So her post today, yesterday, I'm done with all the clowns, council and staff. So, is she done with you too?
I guess.
Are you part of council? Or she needs counselors? So I have a real problem. I don't care what she says or anybody says about me. But when you start belittling our staff, we have a problem. And I'm not sure what actions we can take to resolve this problem. If anybody has any suggestions or comments or...
Has the post been removed?
After we talked, I think it was.
Okay. I did send Dave an email, just like outlining my concerns about the post and just suggesting that it wasn't appropriate. Yeah, and asked you to speak to Maria about it. He said he would, so,
I did.
yeah.
Do you have any comment on it? Or?
Well, I talked to her. That's what I can say. I can talk to her again.
Like myself, I would highly recommend that staff get legal contacts. Because to me, that's slander, defamation of character. I'm not happy at all about this. And you said that she didn't know anything about this. But we went over it, I'm not sure how many times Bill explained it to you, about the water and sewer. How it's cash flowed and at the end of the day, it all works out. Yes, that's exactly what she talks about in here. She says that she doesn't trust their CAO or counselors to bring stuff to the table, that everything should come to you. That you will bring it. To me, this seems like you wrote it, and she posted it.
You know, I understand why you're concerned, and I share your concern for our staff and protected. But we can't control what people are. People choose to trash talk us all the time, and that's just, it's a part of it.
There's stuff on there that,
I know.
there's no way.
There's things on there
Yeah,
also that anyone could have gotten by watching our meetings.
yeah.
And I think that everyone in the township watches our meetings. I mean, I think that's completely unacceptable.
Yeah.
But what can you do? It's Facebook. People trash us. That's why I'm not on Facebook. That's why I don't go there. It's awful.
I get trashed daily. Believe me.
Even by your wife.
And you know what I'm feeling right now? Remember North Algona 2 years ago? Head of the papers, huh? And I think we're the head of the papers right now. We're looking like a bunch of damn fools, according to the papers. All right?
According to one.
Yeah.
One paper.
One paper, yes.
Take what they print with a grain of salt.
And again, don't buy papers. You know, if they're not printing things that we like. I mean, I'm not giving anyone a pass, but just trying to ignore all the crap. We're doing a good job here.
I do ignore it. I try to ignore it when it's to me, but when they're going after their staff, I am not going to ignore it. I can't ignore it.
Yeah. I hear you.
But I think we're the laughing stock of Renfrew County right now, personally.
Well, I invite anyone who's laughing to come and sit and enjoy the meeting. And we're pretty freaking awesome here in Killeen. That will get.
I wonder how big a group was that? 5, 6 people maybe?
Yeah. To me, it's sad.
I know, it's,
It's unacceptable, but what can we do? Thank you for bringing it up, though.
That's what we get for sitting here.
And you five and you are awesome.
Yeah.
And we're
Don't go
not.
on Facebook, don't read that paper, and I'll read it.
We're the bad guys.
Well, my skin's gotten at least like 1 inch thicker since I started.
I told
I
you.
think your heart grew 3 times that
Yeah,
day.
my heart grew, has grown.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay, so motion.
Moved by Bill Smith, second by Brian Kukowski. Motion to adjourn the Finance Committee meeting held on April 10, 2025 for the Township of Killeen, Liberty and Richards.
All those in favor? Carried.